职业5年6年，最大的原因是对游戏比较喜欢，以及我现在到目前为止，是内心想做的一件事情，然后也希望通过游戏能够让喜欢我的人更了解我，因为我也知道，通过游戏，他们才能够认识我。
Well, cool. We saw in that last match, although Flandre picked up MVP, Chris had some fantastic biceps and was flexing on FunPlus Phoenix, including the mid lane of Cool. We were talking about he's been a professional player for 5 to 6 years.
Yes.
Had a huge impact on the FPX roster when he joined mid-split in the spring split. And even in that game, the team fights where he wasn't caught out, where he wasn't focused down immediately by Snake, were the team fights that looked good for FPX, especially the one where they were able to pick up Baron for themselves.
And it was, yeah, because of him. It was honestly because of Cool that the reason why FPX were in it for so long. So the man has had a long career, and it always comes down to the fact that when people, the older they get, you're like, are you going to get worse at this game? Like, what's happening? It's like, why are you getting better at the game? Feels like LeBron, the older he gets, the better he gets. And you're like, is he going to just turn into some styling old man? But no.
Can he win the NBA rest?
Oh, I don't want to hear it. I was actually rooting for that team.
I know. That's why I asked the question. I mean, you compared him to LeBron. It's not great.
Yeah. I mean, we can also say the same thing for Cool. I mean, right now, Cool, big question is whether he could do it with this team. And I feel like it's a possibility. But if he's going to be dealing with compositions like that in Game 1, he's probably retiring after Game 2. He's probably leaving the stage and going back home.
Do you think all the veterans like Cool, Uzi, all the veterans around the world are like, man, I played this game. There was stability after Season 1.
Yeah.
The European bot lane meta got established. We didn't see any crazy shakeups. Even when there were lane swaps, it was still the AD carry and support going up there. There was a system. There was method to the madness. And I'm like, what the heck is this Summer Split 2018? Why?
Look,
are there 5 melee champions in my game?
Life is too short for him to be stressing out with changes like these.
Raz, life is the longest thing you bloody have. How can it be too short?
I don't want to have a conversation like this because then we'll get real deep and real sour real quick.
That's true.
But yes, for him, the fact that he's able to adapt time and time again was surprising to me. His Zoe was fantastic. The Rise is something that I was wondering that he would pick up for themselves because I think that his greatest champions are Rise, Orianna. You can say Syndra, but she hasn't been in the meta for too long, in a long time. So I wonder if he goes to something more heavily towards DPS. I was thinking Yasuo, but he has been known as a bad Yasuo, and he's been really grilling it, like grinding in the time, much like Faker. So it's a big question, especially if people are going to be throwing banner or commands. You might want to pick something that's AD.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, but what? That's the big question because Snake have already shown their strategy. I mean, both OMG as well as FunPlus Phoenix have seemed to think that Snake are going to pull out Marcy.
Yeah.
It is a champion that can be played in the jungle. It is a champion that we have seen in this meta being played.
Yes, and that's why that's not that bad. Like, that's a strategy that you are aware of. The problem and why I will call this cheese and why I won't call the Master Yi cheese. No. I will do this because at least with this composition, it's based around Banner of Command. It's very linear, and so you can just go into this game saying, well, I just won't pick Vladimir. I just won't do it. I'll pick a champion that has AD. I can either pick a real AD carry, or I'll just pick Yasuo in the bottom lane. If I can't play it mid, I'll play bot. And then the Banner of Command strategy will have problems with actual wave clear. And, of course, we were talking about the inspiration tree earlier on with minion dematerializer.
Mate, if you were calling that cheese, that was once a year, fermented for millions of dollars.
Yep.
One single roll of cheese, one single wheel. That was beautiful.
With some,
it was
like,
exquisite,
incredibly snobby millionaire saying, I will spend all my money on this. Every single one of my dimes on this.
All your dollars?
All the dimes and all the dollars.
All the dimes?
Yes.
It's not going to pick you up too much.
There's a lot of dimes. There's a lot of dimes. You can count them, but all I'm saying is that is some
expensive
expensive
Scrooge
cheese.
McDuck running around with like a bunch of dimes just to spend on a wheel of cheese that Snake were able to throw out in game number 1.
Don't question a rich man's fetish.
All right. Look, I'm not going to touch that subject with a 10-foot pole, Raz. Let's get into Champions League for game number 2. Already FunPlus Phoenix, they don't want to deal with that cheddar anymore, banning out Mordekaiser as well as Darius.
And that's just basically calling out and saying, all right, Maestro, you might want to calm down with that pick. I actually want to see what you got in the bottom lane. So we might actually see Hudia and Maestro lane with one another. That could be interesting in and of itself because that's a duo lane that we have never seen. They're both supports.
We'll have to see, because you're right. They did take out Crystal, took out their actual AD carry. Both Maestro and Hudia are bottom lane support players. Guokwo was the member that went into the bottom lane for the first half of the match. So we'll have to see how they adapt with Mordekaiser and Darius taken away. Darius is the only real swap we've seen between mid laners. Picked up in the mid lane, moved in the bottom lane. Faker's done it. We've seen Guokwo do it as well.
And you know what? If they go back to standard, the champion that is universal, if you're roles swapped into an AD carry position, auto-filled there, Ezreal. Right? You can go Ezreal if you want. Vladimir being picked up super early probably means that it's going bottom lane, so that's probably gone in the dust.
And we'll keep track of that, because final ban from FPX was Master Yi, so it seems like they still respect the strategy that Snake have up their sleeves. Lucian, Talia, as well as Lulu, the 3 bans come out from Snake. First lock coming out for FPX. They're giving the biceps back to Chris, picking up Alistar again. Seems like that's their priority in Champion Select. Vladimir, as well as Graves, being picked up by Snake.
And you have to believe that FPX must be suspicious of what Snake's got cooking again. Woo! They even got the Yasuo. I was second guessing if Cool could play it. He has been grinding the champion.
What if it's LWX? Who knows?
That's true, that's true. You know what, I'll give it to you. Maybe it is LWX. It does seem like an LWX pick. So I was getting ahead of myself just because it was Cool that picked it up. So going back to Snake, the reason why I'm suspicious, and FPX have to be suspicious as well, when it's a carry jungler, especially with the expensive builds that have been coming up across for Graves, it's because Graves also takes the mid lane wave. Tark is likely going mid.
Which is potentially what we can see either Maestro or Hudia play. We could see them pick up Tarek, go into the mid lane, get targets, hold the wave, and say, SOFM, I heard you like farm.
Oh no.
Come into the mid lane, come over here.
This
you can
is
farm
hilarious.
my wave, we can go into the jungle together, we can try and kill Singy. Let's do that. And SOFM will be loving it.
You're right. This is actually fantastic, because we were wondering why is a second support on the team. It's because mid laners are the second support of the
Yes!
meta. We literally have a mid laner that is picking up targets, giving it to their Graves, and then duoing with them.
I mean, I believe the game where Faker played Darius, they had Lulu being played in the mid lane. They ran the AD carry into mid lane, made him play Lulu, and I believe Swiffer, an Oceanic mid laner for the team order, tweeted out when he saw that play. He said, please, please, someone from my team, pick up Lulu, sacrifice yourself. I don't want to play that garbage champion. Or something along those lines.
Been in the
because
same
people
chat with that, man.
don't want to play the supports in the mid lane.
They
So,
want it.
Snake, they're playing 3D chess here, guys. Just, you know, if we're going to have 2 supports, let's just play 2 support players. Perfect.
Yeah, and so we're going to see what we got here, because at this point, you have to start assuming that it's going to be Guokwo going out to the bottom lane is my thing.
Okay.
Because if it's going to be Empower SOFM, if that's going to be the game, before it was Olaf, this time it's Graves, then that's my expectations.
And then it's probably Guokwo playing Vladimir in the bottom lane, a champion that he has played before.
Yes.
Meanwhile, for FPX, we can check in with the rest of the draft phase as we see what they've been picked up. Cassiopeia Zoe banned up by Snake. Braum and Jax banned out by FPX, with not only Aurelion Sol, but also Singe being picked up by FunPlus Phoenix.
This is important. The Aurelion Soul, just based off the rune page alone, can go, since they do go into towards the inspiration tree, can oftentimes go into minion dematerializer. Push out lane, look to roam. That's going to be the name of the game here. The only worry is that if you have a 2v1 in the mid lane, you don't have the opportunities to get a push out. So I want to see what Cool's role in this game is.
Well, final pick coming out from Snake is going to be Vladimir, picked up probably by Guokwo. That's what we expect. Maestro, if he does hold on to Tarek, he will head into the mid lane. He'll basically be SOFM support.
Yes.
Now, we don't get the exact same scaling that we saw with the Mordekaiser, thanks to his passive giving him full experience when he shares a lane. But still works out. We've seen Vladimir's go for the support coin item. With Targon to the bottom lane, gives him a lot of gold generation, supplements for the fact that you're running 2 supports almost.
A lot of gold going into the Vladimir's pockets, just so you can get towards the Proto Belt item breakpoint. So I want to see what the bottom lane could do going up against towards the Yasuo.
And let's go over to that side of the side of the rift, I should say. FunPlus Phoenix, their composition, Yasuo into the bottom lane. We see Aurelion Sol being picked up as well. This is something that is still pretty niche. We do see it from time to time, but not too much.
Yeah, and I think a major importance for the Aurelion Sol is the fact that you're going to be picking up minion dematerializer and likely following your lane. So I think this Aurelion Sol is more likely going to be following rather than initiating the roam, just because you won't have the opportunities to do just that if it's a 2v1.
I'm really curious to see how well Aurelion Sol's going to be able to push into Tarek as well, because a lot of champions, Talia, Azir, Karma, those champions that were well known, when they first made their way into the mid lane, they could clear waves so quickly. Cassiopeia, another one. Over time, over the past year and a half, I would say, they've been nerfed. Not only have mages hit a huge amount of nerf, but these champions that clear waves so quickly at early stages have been nerfed significantly. So it seems like it's difficult to deal with the strategy that Snake can go and throw out. And Aurelion Sol kind of makes sense. He can start a push from level 1 with his passive.
Yeah, the only problem if you do go all in on that kind of concept is that you lose a lot of mana as Aurelion Sol if you're trying to do that level 1 and level 2, right?
It's true.
So a lot of the times, you saw it in game 1, it's Tarek or last mid laner holding the wave so it gets large enough for the jungler to be able to make his tracks through the camps and then go mid. That might be difficult with Aurelion Sol. I wonder if he wants to do that early.
And we said Chris had the good idea last game. He was able to roam, capitalize on the advantage that SLM had, and make it a numbers advantage for FPX. Let's see what happens in game number 2. We're getting on to Summoner's Rift for that second match. Raz, it's 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock at Chongqing. The fans have stuck around. Not only was it a 3-hour delay, we've gone through a single match, and it's both the hometown Chongqing fans of Snake, but also the fans of FunPlus finish. You can hear them loud, cheering for their teams going into game number 2. They're here for the long haul, Raz.
Yes, they are. It's great to see the fact that they have so much passion. They're willing to lose their bus track home. They're going to be taking taxis tonight. That's
Book a Didi.
Yep.
They're booking a DD, get him back home.
Gonna have to do it.
Well, let's see how long these games go, because for the current meta, that was a fairly long game number 1, considering that most of the games end at about or before 30 minutes. Checking in with some of the keystones being picked up. Fleet Footwork being picked up by Graves. We haven't seen too much of Fleet Footwork since its changes. Also with AD carries not being as popular recently. Conqueror on Yasuo. We even see Press the Attack being picked up by Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao's running many different keystone masteries.
With Graves, Fleet Footwork has been the standard just because it's so much easier to keep on top of it. As I say this, Xin Zhao is literally looking for his
We'll talk about that later, because Sing is already moving to the bottom lane. Press the Attack was his keystone. It does a lot of damage immediately. Guo gets welcomed into the bottom lane by FPX. First blood picked up by Singy.
Yeah, the post 8.10 era where a jungler gets level 2 off one camp and immediately looks for a gank. So if your name is Camille, or in this case Xin Zhao, you're going to be taking names early. So that's going to be sad for the one who died, which is Guo this time around.
Aggressive play coming out from FPX, and this is what we expected from them in Spring Split. We said the same about them moving into Summer. They're an aggressive team, and they're not going to let up just yet. Tower diving, level 2. 4 members of the bottom lane. Chris taking the turret. Falls though. Hudia gets that kill. Taking the turret now is cool, but he's cool as a cucumber. Flashes away, lives with less than 100 hit points. Hudia, the only member surviving the Snake in that bottom lane.
Yeah, it's always difficult to dive a Shen. The taunt was one reason for it, but also just the shield, the W that she has for him. So of course, if it was a level 3 Shen, ain't gonna happen. They're not going for the dive.
But it's not.
Exactly. Level 2 makes it easy. This is the reason why the Aurelion Sol is in the game to begin with.
Rotates down, and we saw the push coming out from Core. Shoved the wave into the turret. Made sure that SFM could not group up. Pick up some extra gold from Maestro. And then rotating bottom lane. Very clean strategy coming out from FPX.
And here's the good thing about this. Crisp, honestly playing defense for Xinyi, because Xinyi plays the most riskiest early game of his life going bottom lane that heavily. And the longest time he spent there gives time for SOFM to start, staging an offense, looking for the blue buff, looking to contest that, because that's where 100% Xinyi is going.
But already a very quick skirmish. SLFM getting locked down by Chris. Exhaust goes down onto Core. He ticks over to level 4. Still has a red buff and blue buff for himself. LDX now is going to try and join the fight. Flash is available for Maestro. Jumps over the wall. Gets back to safety. Successful invade for Snake. But they lose a couple of summoner spells.
Yeah, that's just playing full defense, recognizing what SOFM wanted to do, and just being there for Xinyi. The only reason they're able to do that is because Vladimir has a really poor push into lane. So taking advantage of the fact that Alistar and Yasuo are going to be able to push and roam made it so Graves had to back away entirely.
Now Graves makes his way back into the mid lane res. Being supported by Maestro, but Core, he's angry. 2-on-1, he doesn't care. He's still going to try and chunk out SLFM to about half health. And with that push, they move straight back into the jungle. They're going to continue farming. The support system is still going to work out for them.
Yeah, and he's going to get the heal. So even though you think that damage would last, he's beside a Taric to begin with, and he has fleet footwork, so that's not going to mean too much. To hit on the fleet footwork point that I was going to hit before is because with how expensive the builds are for SOFM, or at least the Graves, he eventually goes towards the crit build, which is the specifically just Phantom Dancer. So once he gets the Black Cleaver Warriors, go to Phantom Dancer and look to skirmish.
But there's still more fights in the bottom lane. Guokwa is going to use his Sanguine Pool to jump away from that flash, follows up as well. And despite their Shen having a level advantage, despite Hudia being a level up, FPX still able to win those skirmishes at the bottom side of the map. Vladimir seems like he's fairly weak during the lane phase. That's something we saw when he was played in the mid lane as well as the top lane. It seems like wide teams are kind of moving him to the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, he takes time. He takes time because he's reliant on his items and levels. So bottom lane, Vladimir is one of the weakest mages to really go there, just because he's trying to sustain up to get to a certain item break point, while Yasuo is going to be very easy skirmishing up against that.
Which makes sense to put Vladimir in the bottom lane. I mean, think of an AD carry, there's not many that you would throw into a mid lane, or that you throw into a top lane. They would just die. Maybe Lucian, sometimes Ezreal, they'd be fine there. But anyone else, you put an Ashe or a Kog'Maw in the top lane, they're dead. Vladimir, he could survive. Certain champions like Orianna or Karma will keep him locked down, but would survive. Now that he's a little bit weaker, moving to the bottom lane, gets that extra bit of support, which is what we were talking about for Snake, running 2 support players. This could potentially be what the 6-man rosters look like at internationals if this meta continues, because traditionally it's been junglers or top laners, sometimes mid laners. Now it could be you run an extra support.
Yeah, at this point anything could happen. It's always interesting to see meta changes happen like these because you don't know for how long it happens. In other games, I'll throw Street Fighter out there because I play that casually. So patch happens at the beginning of the year, you're probably going to see another patch in 2 months. You know, see ya, goodbye, we'll see you then, right? Goodbye. With League of Legends, patches run through every 2 weeks. It happens so quickly. So before you even grasp the last patch, before you grasp the past 2 months ago, you're already on to the next one. I say people are still trying to figure out Runes Reforged, and we're already moving to this patch. So, like, you're right. If this keeps the course, then things will change, or at least the teams that can adapt, like Snake, can keep to the top. But there's so much changing that I actually don't know what we're going to see 2 months from now.
I mean, maybe even moving down to a path where your position is not locked in based on the type of champions or the role that you play, but based on the champions you can play. Something similar to Dota, we have off-lane, things like that. Could be a potential. But we'll have to keep track of the patch later on during the split. For now, though, this is what the meta looks like, which is a jungler and a support farming in the mid lane for Snake. SOFM already level 6. Mage are just trying to support him. They have Singe right behind, looking to try and put some pressure on this turret, and FPX are successfully doing so.
Yeah, successful, but they are losing something. It's something that's not really being shown on the map. It's just experience.
Okay.
Crisp has been moving so often to protect his lanes and to stop the aggression coming in from Snake that he's level 4, while everyone else in the map is just much higher than that. I would say the lowest level would be Hudia, who's level 5. And should be reaching level 6 rather soon. So he's not going to be level 6 anytime soon. That's going to be a worry if they do want to look for dives, and if they do want to look to make Yasuo a lot more viable in these skirmishes.
And he will have to play catch up, because level 4, level 5, not great for Alistar. Once he hits level 6, even if he's level 6, Hudia, his support counterpart's level 8, it's not going to matter too much. He still has the ultimate available for those dives.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can catch up. It doesn't look like Eldorix has picked up a significant advantage for himself either. He's still level 5 on the Yasuo, but a big breakpoint coming out from Snake is Maestro has hit level 6, so that ultimate is available for Taric. Can turn his team invulnerable in a couple of these skirmishes, and SOFM still farming up a Storm. And
the better teams can make use of these windows. They can call out when they're about to hit level 6 and what they can actually do with it. So if you have both Shen and Taric available to yourselves, you should be able to look for a skirmish or a gank on towards cool, or ideally look for a dive bottom lane and just bring the Taric with you. So that's what I want to see. You see Graves right now tag teaming with Taric mid lane. Once they get the push on here, it's going to be Cool and Singy that answer, and they can immediately move bottom lane.
Yeah, for now it seems like Cool and Singy have the map advantage. They're able to do things like this, which is rotating the bottom lane, but good wards coming out from Snake. Spot this out, control what's going to spot them, but they've got nowhere to run.
Yeah, there's not much they can do. At the very least, Hudia maybe could taunt out of there.
Ooh, flashes over the wall. Singy decides to charge a Gromp. I don't think that quite looks like Shen, but he's able to do so anyway. Hudia still takes way too much damage. Single pick comes out for FPX in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that was very sneaky for them to be able to get right behind the dual lane. There's really no way to get out of there. I'm just happy that Guokwo was able to find a way out.
Well, response from Snake is they're going to take away some of the jungle of FPX. SOFM gets a blue buff for himself. That's going to... I was going to say it's going to hurt Aurelion Sol, but they've been taking Snake's blue buff so far. Sinch was parked in the mid lane, so he wasn't top side out, giving Flandre some free farm for himself. But now the tides have turned. FPX are going to get first turn in the bottom lane. They're also moving towards a dragon. Unlike the 3 clouds Snake got last game, it's immediately an Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, at this point, you just look towards what Snake even got throughout all of this. That's actually embarrassing. They actually could have kept more members there to be able... They get nothing?
SOFM wants it, doesn't get it. Singing now in some trouble. Stun comes out of Maestro, throws out the buckshot, gets a kill for himself. They pick off the jungler, but don't get the objective.
Yeah, you're right. Poor allocation of resources, but maybe they might be able to get something here. That's... never mind.
Yeah, they try to kill budget Thanos, doesn't work out. And meanwhile, bottom lane, Quarko in trouble. Or is he? Suddenly, Yasuo is there. LWX tries to use his ultimate. Chris tries to save him. Not going to work out. Snake going to continue pushing through on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, let's rewind it just a little bit, just because this could have been a major advantage for FPX. They could have gotten both the dragon. They still get the dragon. Like, that's still an advantage they get. They sacrifice a life. You're right. They didn't get the tower. So, had they have been able to hold on towards the Xin Zhao, stick to the lane, get the tower, move to dragon, and just challenge Snake and say, you're not going to challenge her. Oh, wow, he actually followed through.
Well, Vladimir's ultimate was ticking. Might have died.
Fish. No.
Yes. He had like 50 health res. I could have got the big bad wolf from the 3 Pigs story, and he could have come and huffed and puffed, and he would have died that way.
That's just too high for you.
He was dying res. He came back in, tried to make a hero play, didn't work out.
That's the thing about Yasuo's. They try to make a hero play because they feel like Superman. You know?
That's why we can never play Flex Q with Rusty.
Yeah, that's true.
Scuttlecrab's going to be taken down by Snake. Maestro picks back from himself, taken away from SOFM. But FPX seems like they want to collapse. Cool trying to keep them locked in, but SOFM charges in. Ultimate being used by Maestro. They try to lock him down. Cool flashes, uses his ultimate, but invulnerability comes out from Snake. SOFM still yet to take any damage, and now Shen, the ninja, wants to join this fight as well. Seeing the next target getting quite low, but Hudia gets that kill. Snake not done yet. They're going to push through mid lane.
Yeah, they have a pretty large wave as well, so they might just turn this into a mid lane tower. Or dive.
Or dive. They lock down the dragon. He's going to go down. Uses the stopwatch stay alive a little bit longer. Hudia jumps forward. This man's not a support. He's a carry at the moment. Gets another kill, moving towards mid lane turret.
They keep moving the goalpost. It seems like FPX don't even know what this team's... Oh, wait a second.
Oh, here he comes. Gimgoon looking to try and lock them down. Dodges both the stuns. Flings back SOFM. Wants to try and quick draw over the wall. Flash forward. Smacks him with the shield as well. The poison's going to tick in Samsung Galaxy for FPX. Gets a kill.
I feel like this game has to be played through the minimap, because you just never know who's coming in for a flank. There's always an answer on the opposite side, and you never know what the full picture looks like. That looked like Snake was going to get the victory, because I was like, okay, maybe they can get the tower, but they're like, nah. How about this plan? How about I just try to take Cool's head? Because it seems like they're not going to be able to get the damage on SOFM. The man has a shield as well as Maestro's ulti on top of him. So that's easily going to turn. And so Snake starts feeling themselves. They're like, all right, this is fantastic. Let's go further. Let's go for a dive. They do not catch the roam coming in from Sinch, which is rather important.
Which actually Flandre spots out. Look at your minimap. He's shadowing the Sinch.
That's true.
He knows it. They're pinging it. They know he's on the way, but another team fight's breaking out. Snake, they're going to be able to pick up 1 kill to kick things off, but Chris wants to jump in. LWX gets a double man ultimate, taking out Quarko. Exhaust is on SOFM. He has all the gold for the side of Snake. Still staying alive. Dashing back into FPX's lineup. Cool as well as Gimgoon are going to try and hunt him down, but he's running away, sacrificing himself for the team. Cool's not done yet. Throws a couple of stars over the wall. Gets a stun, gets a flash, but seems like an even trade in the team fight.
Yeah, these fights seem hectic. And it's even though it's a victory for Snake, they still have more numbers on the field. A lot of it is now you have to keep track of LWX. He wasn't participating in the last fight, he participated in this one. And he made it that much closer. So the more items this man gets, he's nearing his Infinity Edge. Once he gets that for himself, it seems like team fights look much better for FPX. This is the context now.
Well, this is the start of that team fight where we saw Singer get taken down nice and early before we jumped into it, and then FPX turn around.
Yeah, so this means that they didn't even have their jungler available to this much damage coming in from the Yasuo-Alistar combination alone, and Cool just having the consistent damage. So you can already see what FPX composition can do in fights without even a member on the field.
We also saw the ultimate being used by their supports, Hudia as well as Maestro, very early into the skirmish that SOFN had mid lane, so we didn't have those available. And he's the main carry at this point, 146 CS. Thankfully, someone from the side of FPX is catching up, and that's going to be Gimgoon top side of the map. So not putting on the storm that we saw from SOFM in the last match, but still a significant threat.
Yeah, and I think this game, funny enough, might just start slowing down, because SOFM at this point is looking towards his items, and he wants that black lever.
You tell that to Snake.
Look, I'm saying right now, this is what they're telling themselves. And if that's not the case, then I don't know this team. Okay, I don't know this team. Get him!
Sure about that, because they're about to go for a fight again. Hoodia gets the taunt to Chris. Immediately uses his ultimate to disengage. Take away quite a bit of the damage the Snake were about to dish out, but take away a crucial ultimate at that from Chris.
See, at that point, they just see them invading onto the blue side jungle saying, why are you even here? What wards are you even trying to play? So that was a good challenge from Snake ultimately.
But a good time to make that challenge, because now with Chris ultimate down, Dragon coming up in 35 seconds, that could be a key part of the map for Snake to fight for. FPX already took that first Infernal Dragon, and it's an Infernal Dragon that's spawning for Drake number 2.
Yeah, and very soon I would say...
Oh no.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So very soon, Snake are going to have the TP advantage. It's going to take about 40 seconds before Flandre gets his own, but once he does, he actually can consistently keep Gimgoon in the lane and force this Dragon in bottom lane tower. So in the long con, Snake are in a good position.
Now they're going to try and dive LWX as well. Stuck underneath his turret. No minions have collapsed just yet, but Esper says, I'll tank it. It's fine. Let's herd this Yasuo closer towards the river as well. Gorkwar slows it down. Windwall's not going to do too much, but LWX tries to jump back in. SOFM gets that kill. Snake get a pick right as the Infernal Dragon spawns.
Yeah, and you know what? Maestro didn't trust anyone. He said, I don't know how much Yasuo mechanics you have. I'm going to expend exhaust here so you don't make a massive play. So looks like they get the kill. They can get the Infernal. I'm guessing they can get bottom lane. Right now, Snake are in a fantastic position.
Get the Infernal. No, they're going to try and clear out mid wave first. FPX, although lose LWX in that skirmish, they lose Yasuo. They still do a good job of keeping pressure up in the mid lane, denying Snake from moving towards that objective just yet. Yasuo has now respawned. No quick way for him to get back towards this pit.
Yeah, and even though Yasuo is coming in along, I would say that the only reason this dragon's being taken is because of that. But now that Orin does have his teleport, it's going to be able to push this wave. They can look for bottom lane. They're already doing that. You can see where Vladimir is currently. So a lot of objectives being picked up by Snake just because of that early tempo.
I mean, Orn still has the banner of command as well. So
That's true.
Anytime he wants to push that wave out, anytime he wants to capitalize on Gimgoon going for a roam that we've seen him do a couple of times in this game, he can drop it down like he has now on that backside wave with, I believe, a cannon minion. That will slowly push back in. But Snake have been very proactive. FPX, they led this match. We already talked about it. They showed the aggression that we expected from FPX very early into the game. I mean, a level 2 tower dive by 4 of their members of the bottom lane, sacrificing Crisp to get an early kill to Gorkwar, the second one of that. And they held a nice 2,000 gold lead, but Snake will be looking for skirmish after skirmish, and FPX have not been able to keep up so far.
Yeah, because sadly enough, that play was to make it so Snake didn't have any standing to be able to press their composition early on. Right now, FPX should slow the game down. Look at the gold right now. 1,500 gold for Yasuo. He is so close to getting that key item that if they force a fight before he gets it, that's irresponsible.
It's quite disgusting to look at because you see the two supports from Snake sitting at 4,000, close to 5,000 gold. FastFirm having 7,800, 600 above the next highest, but his LWX was 7,200. Really trying to make this double support strategy work. Game 1 it did, Game 2 so far it's been working out well. Let's see how the rest of it pans out. Scuttlecrab going to be taken down by SOFM. No dragon spawning just yet. And FunPlus Phoenix, they put Cool into the bottom lane. Stinge is still proxy farming as well.
And Aurelion Sol being on a side lane is always interesting because that just means that Aurelion Sol will have the options of going in either side lane. It's just literally holding bottom lane so you can roam mid lane and stall out the game. FPX are in full stall mode unless if they find themselves a window. The window does not exist currently. They're just making it so LWX get his items. 1,500 gold is good enough for a BF sword.
Okay.
But he doesn't want a double BF. He wants to stay on the map for as long as possible to get that IE, meaning he's in a massive trop. His gold does not equate how strong he currently is.
And look at the counterpart carry coming up from Snake's going to be able to confirm, but engage comes out. LPX wants to go from high. Did Maestro get the ultimate off in time? And he does. Snake going vulnerable, and everyone's here for the party. Welcome to the Snake Pit, FunPlus Phoenix. Doesn't look that fun for you at the moment. Cool goes down. Triple kill being picked up by Gorgor. Make that 4. Only Gimgoon left alive, and Snake, they counter the engage that comes out of FPX.
Yeah, and Gimgoon's way too healthy. Maybe they try and go for it, but they're a responsible team. You know what? You know who's irresponsible? I just said it. Why is FPX picking a fight when they don't have the items for LWX and you're going in on the Tarek? That made no sense to me. They're immediately regretting that decision.
We talked about it. Seems like Chris thought he had 2 bigger biceps there, going for another initiation. Gets a good knock-up, gets a good fight for LWX. LWX goes back to base. Doesn't even have Infinity Edge at the moment, Rest. Now goes for that double BF.
He only had enough for the second BF sword, and this is where it becomes too questionable. You see Maestro already there, and you know you don't have the burst damage to get past the Tarek ulti before it comes up. So what is your plan? Maybe they think that they can continue on. Maybe they didn't know where Ornn was. So you're like, even if the Tarek ulti comes down, we can still stick to the fight. We have more members. That was just a disgusting fight, and now Vladimir is off the charts.
Good guy, Gimgoon. He's got a Samsung Galaxy skin on at the moment, Raz. He might as well have a Snake skin for Singe at the moment. Flung Gorgor back, got the final auto attack down onto Singer to get that quadra kill at the end of the team fight. But even if LWX didn't wait for the Infinity Edge, he was sitting on a nice gold lead for himself there. Even if it's just 1,300 gold, that's still a nice BF sword to pick up to have in that team fight, which he didn't have. FPX just chose a weird time to fight where Snake was strong. SOFM had 2 items for himself.
And this really does come to the communications because he was trying to base earlier, but I think the rightful decision was that even if he has another BF sword, it's not enough to really win out in a fight. He needs the Infinity Edge to get the 100% crit. That is a massive spike for Yasuo. He didn't have that for himself. That was the key problem. And rightfully, he's like, all right, it's going to take some time. We can keep our lane assignments and stall for that time. That's what they needed to do. It sounds lame, but you're going with FPX that is naturally an impatient team, and that's what you get.
Well, now we can check in with how the state of the game is. Snake about 2,500 gold up over FPX. With the as well as 4-4. Swip pushing on the top side of the map. You can tell SOFM loves this meta, Raz. Maybe not their first match against OMG when he had to share the spotlight with Crystal playing 80 carries in the bottom lane, but now he is the 80 carry. He's got an Ornn, a big tank to beef up the front line, soak damage and get good crowd control from him. He's got a Vladimir, dropping down the ultimate, giving him extra damage when he gets auto attacks off or any spell damage off when that ultimate's there. He's now got a Zeke's Harbinger as well as 2 supports. Look, how do you not like this meta if you're SOFM?
You're right, it's definitely the age of the Vietnamese junglers, because even this morning, I woke up this morning, I turned the TV on.
Watching Levi?
Yeah, I was watching Levi on that, on the Master Yi.
Ooh.
Incredible play from him, and now we get to see SOFM say, you know, I'm going to build that high econ item build, get to my Phantom Dancer, and carry the game on my own.
And it's working. So far, the strategies that Snake have put in place for this squad have been working. That's why we saw, you know, their coach, he was so vocal all the way to the last minute when the rest was saying, you know, time's up. Here, give me back that headset. Give it back to me. Stop talking. Gets out of there, but gives the last few instructions to his team, and Snake have been walking away with it. We said maybe they didn't quite get it in the first match, but it worked out. They had a plan in it. Game 2 seems like they had a plan, and although FPX are trying to adapt, we see more of their aggression. We haven't seen too much of them in this new meta.
Yeah, and this is where it gets scary, because when I'm looking past this set, it's obviously difficult because we don't even know if this goes into Game 3. But everyone else in their own group in the Western Conference are going to be looking at this and they'll be like, what are they even going to feel for the next set?
What do we do?
Like, what do we go up against? We don't know what they're playing in the bottom lane, if they're going to continue to use Hudye and Maestro, and if this strategy is just going to be the constant for Snake.
And that's the thing. It's not like Snake can't go back to playing 80 carries either. They still have Crystal, Lucian, Draven, Kai'Sa, even Xayah, and sometimes Ezreal. Still very strong 80 carry picks to throw into that bottom lane, and Crystal's known for a couple of those.
That's true.
He could pick it up. We could see Snake go back to playing a very similar style. We do see the third dragon being picked up by Snake as Cool tries to open up onto Maestro, trying to use the ultimate. Can he get involved in time? He does! He even gets a Stand United for the safety. FPX trying to force fights wherever they can.
And that was really good from FPX. Suddenly, Snake are starting to regroup, but they don't have the Shen ulti, and they don't have Tarek ulti. This could be an easy die for them.
SOFM in some trouble. Ignite is seeking, taking a lot of damage. LPX splashes forward, but misses his Q. Can't kill SOFM.
Oh, no.
Now stuck underneath 2 turrets. Ignite onto Yasuo. Kills him. The wind is not going to be enough for him to survive. Gimgoop trying to join this fight, but Flandre gets there first. Sing's in trouble. SOFM gets another kill for Snake, and only 3 members of FunPlus Phoenix walk out alive.
And pour one out for superhero Sinyi. Recognized that his team was going to die if he didn't make that play. Saves the rest of them, but I don't think they can take this Baron. I don't think they can save this Baron from happening.
Yeah, you tell that to Snake. SOFM has other ideas at the moment. That Baron looks like it's going to be his, but baiting it they are. Guokwo and Flandre sitting inside the pixel brush around the Baron pit. 10 seconds till we see both LPX as well as Singy respawn. No teleports for either of those 2 players, and it is the smite for FPX that is currently respawning to the fountain. Difficult for FPX to try to contest this. Everyone on the Snake is nice and healthy. That is a battle mage Tarek, healing everyone back up. Chris wants to jump back in. 1,000 hit points. SLV has one mind at the moment. He's going for Baron, and at the same time, Guokwo gets a kill. Cool forced to jump away. Flandre's not having any of it. From downtown, Kobe, he says SLFM. He gets another kill for himself. Knock him down with the ultimate. Snake get everything they want, Raz. 2 more kills and Baron.
That was close. That was a close one, and Guokwo ended up dying, but you know what? For the right cause. They get Baron for themselves, and even though that was a very tough contest, they come out with a victory. Now, understand this. FPX are in a desperate situation, so they're just waiting and biding their time for Aurelion Sol to come in there to at least contest for this. Not a single one of these members can actually burst down Baron. They have no burst power. So a lot of it was just try and make them as low as possible to at least get a kill or 2. They get Vladimir, but everything else just seems way too difficult.
How did it try and contest back? Grimgoon tried to jump back in, got a single kill for himself, got the shutdown onto Guokwo especially, but 3 members, no smite, and 2 of their carries dead. Seemed like a difficult task, especially into a Tarek. Maestro healed everyone from Snake back up to full health during the course of that Baron fight.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a disaster play at this point in time.
Just a bit?
A little bit. Now, if you look towards the kills, 17-7, that might deceive you because it's just, look, I'm going to say it's just a 5k gold lead, but obviously 26 minutes into the game. I'm saying that FPX can still look for fights. At this point in time, Cool does have consistent damage, and LWX has got himself the Infinity Edge, so it's a possibility. Snakes still have to slow it down and play this smart, especially with the Baron that they have, because the game can't turn over.
I mean, you said that once already, Raz.
Yep.
You sure you're not going to be, once bitten, twice shy?
Look.
Because I don't know if you've been watching this set from Snake, Raz. It's been pedal to the metal at the moment. All the way forward, and every time we think there's a breather, it's just the calm before the storm. And I think that's what's happening right now, because more turrets are falling.
Oh my god.
And right there, right on cue, Udia's jumping into the bottom lane, trying to protect Flandre, even before he gets below half health. Gimgoon as well as Singy trying to collapse. Rest of Snake still in that mid lane. On throws out his own ultimate, gets blocked by the wind wall. Udia jumps back in, stun, being knocked back by Maestro. Can't lock down Singy, but the stopwatch will do that for him. Cannon minions still getting a couple of attacks onto these turrets, slowly chipping away and taking down these objectives. SWF says, you guys don't need me. I'll Baron buff the mid lane, and I'll take a turret for the team as well.
Well, damn. I'm trying to figure out if that was a wind wall that blocked that Ornhorn or if that was Xin Zhao ultimate, but I'm going to find out afterwards. I'm going into practice tools. After that, though.
But SOM's going to die, Raz. Gets taken out. That's the main carry from Snake. Only Guokwo has enough damage to deal with the rest of this squad, and he is down to a sliver of health. Make it 2 being picked up by LPX. Guokwo should be the 3rd. Heals back up, but it's a triple kill being picked up by the carry of FPX.
And this is why you have to slow the game down. If you were watching the Vici game, the set earlier, this literally happened, where you try to go for the end game, and then you just get bopped by a 5-man lineup.
Oops.
That is a big oof, and that is a big oops. That is literally a combination of the oops and oof. That's not good.
Yeah, we don't want a combination of oops and oof in this match between FPX as well as Snake. FPX going to try and turn things around. Got a banner of command of their own. They've pushed it into the mid lane. Mid lane outer turret's going to fall. Still facing across a 7,000, closer to 6,000 gold lead from Snake. Guokwo as well as SFM are about to respawn, but FPX will at least take 2 objectives for their troubles.
Okay, I thought that was going to turn into a parade where they just go down the line for 3 towers. Not going to be the case. The only thing I'm going to worry about is their base timings. We're going to find that after the replay if they base at the proper time. But yeah, he's in. Not the best time to do that. It's just you and Taric. So even if you do get caught out by, or at least get caught in the Taric ultimate, you're still alone. And that's something that Snake have to realize, is that they are a team at the end of the day, and if they're trying to end the game, they should do it properly. So that's once again greed coming out of SOFM.
He's feeling a little bit confident there, Raz. That's all I can say. SOFM looking for the power play. Does get 2 inhibitor turrets off the back of that.
He's never felt more powerful. The man is going for a second Zeal item right now.
I mean, his coach has put in 2 supports to boost this strategy. First time on Olaf, now he's going to be on the Graves. He's going to be incredibly happy. 366 CS, as you mentioned, almost at 5 items. 30 minutes into this match, incredibly strong, but he's not the only carry now. Guokguo also packs a ton of damage. Vladimir, much more difficult to kill, especially with all these supports roaming around the map.
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell SOFM is going to build for himself, because it could be just a rapid fire cannon and then an infinity edge. That's what most carry Graves would just go towards if they get this late into the game.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's disgusting. You know what? Keep this game going. I hope FPX come back into this just so I find out what the hell he's going to be finishing the game with. I can't end this game off that mystery.
Look, at the rate he's farming, Raz, he's going back to base. He's going to pick up one of those items, so see one of them being complete. You can guess the other.
That's literally what the call is. You could be like, you know, most teams, let's just say BLG would be like, all right, we messed up. Let's go right back to the inhibitor as a team and do it right. But it's Snake that's saying, okay, all right, I don't trust you guys. I'm farming every camp on the map,
no.
And then we're going to the next objective.
Raz, you don't understand. Krugs were up. SOFM saw that the enemy team had Krugs. He wanted Krugs, and they had to die first. He does so and gets an infinity edge.
All right, so instead of going to the rapid fire early, he just goes towards the IE.
No, he wants that double crit. He wants it now.
Yeah.
That's a true damage Graves when he crits. And he's got 5 shotgun bullets coming out of his auto attacks. It's not pretty. He hurts. Zeke's Harbinger, Knight's Vow being picked up for him as well.
45-45. That's a 90% crit.
I mean, if I was SOFM, I think I'd be a god. Flandre's going to be picked up here by FunPlus Phoenix. Gimgoon tanks the first charge your ultimate. Everyone else is trying to teleport into this fight. Cancelled and Singy disappears.
Okay. So the TP just to be able to push him off. So here's the thing. Just looking at it right now, the fact that Graves does 90, that's good enough. He doesn't need 100%. Maybe if this game goes on too long, but that's a good enough spike for Snake to move as a team now. So pretty good timing that Baron's coming up in 30 seconds.
Teleports were used though. So one cancelled by Guokguo.
Yeah.
They didn't commit with the second, but second one was Flandre, so they couldn't commit with the second.
This is why this is the most exciting part of the game. The moment the TPs come through, you're like, all right, throw bottom lane away. We don't need it. It's not on the map anymore. Everyone head topside. Exactly.
So Baron's up in 10 seconds, Rez.
This is why we're going to see a 5v5. Unless Orin has any interesting ideas because he has TP for himself. I think
this is
all the members of Snake are going to all in on this strategy.
This is going to be a fun team fight, though. Red Smite Graves.
Can I be the play-by-play?
No.
Okay.
I want this moment right now, Rez, because Snake going for another fight. Chris, the first target, that's ultimate burn. They should be happy with this. I mean, you can try going for this fight, but it's going to be a long fight, Rez.
Oh, you take it.
Jumping back in. Rest of FPX reckon they can fight against Snake. It's SOFM getting buffed up, but they're taking the fight nice and slow. Singing now being charged out. Hoodia wants to be a carry, jumps back in. Flandre trying to take it out with the ultimate. Doesn't get the snipe, but Hoodia is incredibly fast in this Shen. Does get slowed down. FPX fight. They live to fight another day. Singy might be in some trouble. The Vladimir ultimate is ticking, and ticked it does. Guokguo gets a single kill in that fight.
Omae mo Shinderu. The guy is gone. The man is dead. He just needs to use his ulti and walk away from that explosion. So no jungler on the map for FPX. I wonder what they're going to do. It has to be a fight.
Seems like they go for Baron once again here, as Flandre trying to play spoiler, stopping FPX from getting anywhere close to a steal. Baron picked up by Snake. They got a pick there. They're going back to base. This could be the final push for them.
Yeah, and you know what? This is when I start making second guesses. Maybe triple guesses after the last thing. So even though you have Baron, look, daisies, it's all good. But
there's
you
no
have
Ivan.
to
There's
move
no daisies.
on. Okay, I mean, the secondary daisies. The actual ones on the ground.
Okay.
Not the one that Annie murdered. Spoiler alert. These inhibitors need to be taken down. You move as a team, you look towards it. I don't want to see Snake being split off, looking for these solo engages. I know SOFM is feeling real good right now. You have your full build. Good lord, he's got his rapid fire cannon. But he cannot afford to die at this point in the game.
100% crit. 6 items being picked up by SOFM. Buffed by a Knight's Vow. Buffed by Zeke's Harbinger. He can even upgrade that IE with On being on his side of the map.
Oh my god. That even a shotgun anymore. It's moving too quickly.
He's got a rapid fire cannon, Raz. I mean, he's attached to Nadex. He's got a nice grip underneath as well. That man is a machine. He's going to start moving towards these inhibitors. They get taken down incredibly quick with the banner of command. Thomas the Tank sitting in the back lines. SFM has everything he needs to try and push in for these last few team fights. The question is, how do FPX respond to this? Because slowly they're bleeding out. Slowly they're losing structures here, Raz.
They can't take, or at least they can't defend this inhibitor. As much as they try to cut their position going towards this bottom lane inhibitor. It ain't gonna happen. But if Snake try for this Nexus turret.
Andre? Andre jumps in. It seems like he didn't pay for that. My goodness, Cool takes so much damage. Good wind wall comes out from LWX, but the turrets are falling. Ornn throws out the ultimate. Taric ultimate comes through. Snake says, you know what? We don't need to fight you. We can just end the game. But that's other ideas. Jumping in. He gets a double for himself. Guo piles on into the team fight as well. Between the Nexus and the Fountain is where Snake make their last stand. They take down FunPlus Phoenix 2-0.
And they ain't gonna end the game until you feel the power of that build. Woo! That's all he wants, is to be able to test it. An experiment. How much damage can I do to a man with all these bullets?
Reddit was wrong. 80 carries are not dead, Raz. To give the man a shotgun, he's completely fine. SFM was a madman in that match.
Just send them all to the jungle. Have them fend for themselves. All these 80 carries out there, double it. Get in the camps.
Look, we already had Ezreal in the jungle. We had Graves in the jungle for the longest time now as well. Who knows, we could head into that jungle next. Talia's there, for God's sake.
I feel like a few NA casters were playing Kai'Sa jungle out there, so you know what? Just get in there.
Please no. But
I think it was Irene.
But Snake's strategy, it worked out. We questioned, why is Hutia coming as an 80 carry? We already said, until today, we only had one match in the LPL where there was no 80 carries on either side of the map. A couple more where there was one team running no 80 carries. But most of it's been 80 carry against 80 carry. That's what Snake run against OMG. And now going up against FPX, they throw in two supports. They reveal one of their strategies to start this split. And I'm really curious to see how it grows throughout the rest of week 1 and potentially moving to week 2 as well.
Yeah, and that was a meta composition. I think that's what people should really realize, because while game 1 was real cheese, that game 1 composition was fabulous.
Great chitter.
But game 2, that's something you should really expect to see Snake play from this point forward.
Okay.
Unless if you really ban the Graves out, because Graves and Talia are by far the best junglers right now in the meta. But then they can go to the Olaf, and we saw what he could do there. So a lot of it comes down to the fact that Snake are empowering their jungler, and he ain't gonna stop.
I mean, there's a reason why OMG and FPX banned out Marcy. They must have known that this is a strategy that Snake can run. Doesn't matter. Give SFM an Olaf, give him a Graves, he'll be happy. And again, we said during their first match of the LPL, he didn't get any priority in the jungle. This time, they give him everything and more. They gave him the entire kitchen sink, Raz. They said, you know what do you want, SFM? We didn't give it to you in the first match. You can have it against FPX.
God bless our new Snake overlords, man. You know what? I just want to see SOFM from this point forward play any jungle you want. Play the Shyvana. I don't give a damn. Give him all your gold. Give him everything. The man will make it work it.
And he did. He was able to pick up a victory, not only game 1, but also game number 2 for Snake Esports to break down the entire day. Let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Try and explain it.
Okay, take this, throw that over there, because nothing matters anymore. Snake have thrown the first stone. There was conversations that were happening in the community. It's been posed many times across every single podcast. Will we see 80 carry players replaced by, I think it was usually top laners that was being thrown out? And everyone's answer is, nah, you don't replace someone like Double It.
Good mechanics.
Exactly, you don't get rid of Uzi. Snake has said,
Tower pushing.
bench him, sub him out. Get 2 supports there. Again, it's not the top laner. Maestro and Hudier, if you don't watch Snake Esports, are support players. They have decided to take their ADC off the roster, and it worked.
And they played with 2 supports. So I want to build the structure of this new world. It's called the Snake meta. And in the Snake meta, you have one primary carry. He's not solo carrying, he's not an ADC, and he's not a mid laner. He's the jungler. He takes smite, he takes all the farm in the mid lane. And in this game, we saw Graves with 400 farm around 30 minutes, and he was ahead of the enemy jungle by almost 200 farm. So that's our new primary carry. And then if you look at the supporting roles, you have 2 of them. One's the mid lane with Targons, and the other's in the bot lane with a global ready to support that super carry. And I would like to talk about the strengths of this super meta. In League, if you have more gold and more items onto each other, they actually stack those multipliers. So the further you can push a person ahead, relatively to an equal distribution, you actually get stronger. That's like a proof for capitalism, basically. The more gold concentrated on one, you have a stronger point overall.
So here's my question then, because again, we kind of spoke about how Maxlor and Euphoria, he was talking about how the problem is not the jungler. The problem is the support.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this?
I definitely agree with this. I think, first of all, the Targons are funneling too much free gold into people. You actually see double Targons in jungle and in the mid lane. Not this game, but in the previous game we did see that. And also you have to think about supports are champions that are built to function without gold. So they then work into this meta where you have all the gold on one person, you have all the items on one person's, and you have all the different multipliers stacking on top of each other in terms of the item efficiency.
Do you think these problems start to sort themselves though when more team fights are happening? Because right now the games are ending so quickly that there's maybe, 1 to 3 impactful team fights that decide the course of the game before someone snowballs into a Baron. Probably less before a snowball into a Baron. That if this was a meta where you're seeing, 5 to 7 team fights, that suddenly you wouldn't get so much bang for your buck out of having 2 supports versus, because then you're sacrificing damage or carries that you wouldn't be able to kill people.
So what I think the problem is, the danger you run with like 2 carries and then 3 supports, sometimes like this game, is when it comes to a super late game, support items don't actually get you that much. They give you defenses, but they don't really give you damage. That's the common theme about support items. So when it comes to super late game, I was actually banking on FPX to win this game, but I think the problem was that they actually went into fight too often. They were very impatient and they didn't look at their composition and stand back and say, hey, we have 4 champions that do a lot of damage. If we wait toward the super late game, we go all in all at once with full items, there's no chance that Snake would have come out ahead. But they didn't read that from the draft.
Yeah, and again, reminder that if you haven't been watching the LPL, not every single LPL game has been this type of mad scientist, a Dr. Frankenstein experiment in the basement. It's been majority that we've had traditional lanes, traditional plays like the ADCs. We've had more ADCs in the LPL than we have in the LCK. We've had a lane swap in the LPL while the LCK are doing role swap. So in terms of going into this day, it looked like the LPL was the more stable or normalized meta, and then suddenly you have Snake. So I thought. But the idea that this is going to become the new normal. I do not think that Snake have, put the stamp down and been like, this is actually how you play the game. Because I agree with you. I think that FPX losing this game was more indicative of FPX weaknesses versus Snake actually breaking the meta.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well, but we do have to look forwards to pointers where this meta might show up again and again. I think the big things you have to look about how you break this up is how you break up the mid lane push, and that's really important about what FPX drafted here. Their last pick, Aurelion Sol, I thought was incredibly genius because
to counteract the support jungle.
Exactly, because they stopped them from going into their own jungle and taking all their stuff. A lot of the farm that Graves was able to acquire was just from his mid lane and his own jungle. It wasn't from the enemy jungle like we see in a lot of these mid jungle duos, and that's because of the mid lane push. I think another point you have to factor in is if you're able to disrupt the level 1 like Rogueware's Doinby did against this type of snowball, then their fighting power in the early game in terms of just a pure support and a jungle is actually fairly weak. They're down 1 combat summoner, so we can kind of see that being done as well. If you take your support, you're willing to sacrifice a bit, take your support, break up the push chain that the jungle mid duo is doing to you, and just make sure that they can't constantly push and acquire that much farm and map control. That I actually think striking them early might be a very good idea.
And then my last question before we move on to this discussion, kind of look towards tomorrow, because it is a very stacked day for us tomorrow, is I see what you're saying about their counteracts and how to able to come back from this, but do you think that there are enough mechanics in the game right now to have a comeback factor? If you decide to break up the push, have a champion like Aurelion Sol who can compete with, this Targon's support jungle shenanigans happening there, or going for these level 1 invades to try to create a strong side of the map, is there enough time there, or is simply because the games are ending so early, there's not enough catch-up or comeback mechanics because of how the bounties have changed, that there's nothing to punish this, double support meta?
I think there isn't enough of a chance for you to actually wait for all of 4 of your carries to come online and beat out the support items in terms of just your damage output. That's probably never going to happen just because how fast it snowballs and how easy it is to take towers without an ADC. So that's probably out of the window, but I do think you can try to play for the
Initial item power spike.
yeah, initial item power spike, and also you can try to cheese yourself, which is not really an answer, but we've seen it working out in the LCK. We do have a tier list where Master E and Tarek is gonna beat the new Nuthis basically, and you know, if you can't beat it, you might as well join them.
Oh, yeah, you might as well also have fun. FPX did not look like they were having fun that game, but that said, it was Snake finally taking down the victory 2-0, and thankfully for us, because it has been a very long night. So let's go ahead and pull the standings up onto your screen and take a look at where everything shook out for this day of LPL. And Invictus Gaming still sitting fat and happy on the very top, but Snake striking back after their upset loss to OMG.
And we do have to remember, Snake finished second in their own group this time. They're still going to try and repeat that. Only EDG and W are really strong contenders coming up, and of course Rogue Warriors. So they're not expected to hold on to their role, but they're definitely going to fight for it.
And that's a lot of the names that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen the Team WEs, the Edward Gamings, the Royal Never Gives Up. You know, a lot of these big titans that people normally come to the LPL to watch, they won't be playing until Saturday and Sunday for a couple of them. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We do have our match of the week, I believe, this Sunday between Snake and Team WE, and that got a whole lot spicier after watching that series, because we were concerned. We're like, if Team WE decide to fall flat on their face and Snake struggle against both their series, then this might not even be competitive at all.
Exactly, and you know, Team WE has historically been the AD carry team. From Wei Xiao to Mystic, they have had that position on lockdown. Does that position even exist now? That's the question going into match of the week.
Well, they've got two ADCs, so someone can take a crack at that between Mystic and Imp. But that said, let's go ahead and take a look at our broadcast schedule for tomorrow. Now, reminder, it is a Saturday, which means we are starting at, what, 3 hours earlier?
Yes, we are starting at 2 p.m. China Standard Time.
Yeah, which means that it's going to be 11 p.m. for our North American viewers, as well as 8 a.m. for our Central European viewers. So it's a 2-for-1 special for the NA fans. They get to view the LPL twice in one day.
Definitely because of the time zones. I hope you all tune in, because LPL is where the meta is changing it. I don't think you're going to see this type of experimentation much anywhere else, because Snake is our mad scientist team.
Okay, so let's go ahead and actually look at those matches this time around. So boom, give me the full screen graphic. I love that transition. There we go. Triple games tomorrow. We will be covering all of the action. Suning versus LG, Rogue Warriors versus OMG, WE, our very first look at that team versus TOP. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Clement. Which one are you actually most excited to watch?
I would say the middle one, Rogue Warriors versus OMG. This is the butting heads of the two LMS people I really respect a lot. Steak coaching for Rogue Warriors, and then you have Mountain coming back and started filling in that jungle position.
It's the Revenge Tour 2.0. Not only is it Snake versus Mountain, it's SMLZ versus his old team.
Oh, yeah.
It's also a good look at one of our Rift Rivals representatives that the...
exactly, Rogue Warriors.
Exactly, that the Western audience might not be too familiar with. So that said, that's going to be all for us. We're going to close it up. It has been a very long day, but it was hella worth it for that 2-0 finish from Snake. From behalf of myself, production, as well as the casters, thank you and good night.
We're doing. I'm the Graves, by the way.